This is the morning shift.
Shift Nation, this morning, I'm not going to lie, Brooke Matomak and myself are very honoured to have our guest in, Matua Tame Iti. Welcome to our show. Just quite a funny backstory. We were preparing for this interview, and I told the whole team here. It was originally for later in the morning, then then it was earlier, and I told the whole team, you are not to be late. You will have the studio ready. And then Matua, you caught the early flight and you were here 2 hours before even all of that. We were embarrassed. I was like, we need a hot cup of tea. But you were so humble.
All good. But I was up 4 o'clock this morning.
Oh, so we can learn a thing or two.
Ruatoki, that's about not quite an hour drive. Yeah. So
you were early.
Yeah. Lucky the red light wasn't around.
You told me.
Stick to the rules. 110 on the motorway.
It's good now, eh?
That's not what you said earlier. No.
110.
Before we get into the kaupapa that we'll talk about, for our audience who may not know who you are, I'd love for them just to have a quick update and understanding. I've used ChatGPT, so do you know what ChatGPT says about you? I'll read it out. Okay. Tame Iti, born in 1952, a prominent Māori activist, artist, actor, social worker. Raised in Ruatoki, correct?
Yep.
Love that. As a youth, he embraced activism, protesting the Vietnam War, apartheid, and land confiscation policies. It also says became active with Ngā Tamatua in the early 1970s, a Māori protest group that campaigned for treaty rights, language revival, and indigenous justice. In 1972, he created a symbolic Māori embassy tent on Parliament grounds to highlight land alienation. Famously, in 2005, he fired a shotgun over a flag at Waitangi Tribunal hearing, a fiery protest to evoke tūhoi anger over colonisation. In 2007, he was arrested during the controversial Uruwera anti-terrorist terror raids. He was convicted on firearms charges, but not terrorism. You are you're a legend to us too. But reading that, if you aren't aware who you are someone who has been a part of the fight for a long time now, and what a privilege it is to have you in studio. But Matua, how would you describe yourself?
Well, it's a really privilege to be here with you guys, and I think the focus is around the new generation, and we've done our hits, no apologies, and we have to do what we have to do. With the Polynesian Panthers and all the different SU, there's so many, and the 70s was really active back in the days, and where we had the students, the high school around campaigning against the Vietnam War, just trying to find peace in this world. But I'm really excited that we got the new generation, particularly the generation come through the kohanga reo, the kura kaupapa, and yourselves. Absolutely. And seeing you people around here. And, media is at a different platform altogether. I got a phone. I got my marae Aotea.
Yes.
I talk to hundreds of 1,000 people all the time, just like you do, a million people. Absolutely. Wow, it's amazing. So we just take the opportunity to make use of the particular platform like this and put the message out there.
I was having a chat with Nix before. This Nix over here does all of our social stuff, and we were having this chat, and then it kind of stemmed to you have done so much, and you have been around for so long. But how would you say the landscape of Māori rights has changed since when you started to kind of where we are right now?
Yeah, totally different. It was a door knock. You actually had to see people eye to eye contact.
Right.
We didn't have all the flash gears you have today. So you literally had to get up early in the morning and just go down where all our people working at the freezing work, down at where they are at the wharf, everywhere on the roads, and the car industry, where all the car industry. We have everything here. All the big factories that are happening around here, right throughout Auckland, Wellington, and all the main centres. So we kind of had to go there early hours in the morning, and and have a chat with a megaphone, and put your face out there. Really, it was pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
You know, and but it was fun. There's a lot of fun. You know, I had fun there. You know, just going to Parliament and put a tent there. That was about 1972. You know, so you know, it's a lot of breathing exercise. You got to try and you know, motivate yourself. It's like theatre. It's like going on stage. So you had to remove yourself and present yourself in another shape or form. And so we learned to do that. So people, even people today don't realise what we do is theatrical. You know, they're using the gun, you know, at the right place at the right time. Yeah. It's theatrical. So it's the way we perform and present ourselves, just as much as like what you do here today. But we had to do it out there on the streets, on the marae, in any place that we can be able to present ourselves politically.
And I think that's a good distinction to make as we get into what we talk about later. But we use performance and theatre, and because we're a little bit different. Hey, we like to be inspired by. We're visionaries. We like to be engaged in a way. Even our language. Starting to learn a little bit of Te Reo Māori now. It's more poetic than it is the Pākehā way, which is, you know, use all their different language techniques and things like that. So is that important for you that we capture the imagination?
Well, it was important because we had the artists around during our time. We had the poet, the Hone Tūwhare, the Sam Hunt, you know, and all those kind of different characters. James K. Baxter and all of those different characters come into the space. And so you go. So you had to try and pull people together, a mass, get a mass like a march, and we get people on the street, and that's a hell of a lot of work. And we do our own propaganda, and just type out the old typing machine.
Did it often feel like you were knocking at the door and no one would answer?
Well, yeah, you just keep knocking.
Just keep knocking. You start booting that thing down.
Yeah. Well, they'll knock on the door, and but everybody have a different role to play. So I'm the intelligent person. I'm the person who's gonna work out there and work out who's who in the community. So one of those part there, I moved into Korero, so I need to get all the database of who votes for who are all the national voters, who are the Labour voters. Who are the communist voters? All of their supporters. So you kind of there by the end of the year you should have a database of all the people that are in your community. So all the comrades are out there right around the motu. So we kind of communicate like that. So I was in the Communist Party. That was really, I learned a lot from the way they operate, and just be much more smart and be able to see things. You should be able to see right through the walls. You should be able to gaze to see what's going to happen in 20 years, 10 years, not just right here in front of your nose. You should be able to see what's going on. And that's what we're here for today.
Absolutely.
To talk about that.
Absolutely. That's what we're here to talk about. We're the Māori Electorate, which is obviously recently marked 50 years since the Māori Electorate started.
Yes.
Where Māori were able to be on their own electorate to be able to vote. You have also just done a campaign to sort of kick this off, this campaign, the longest ad.
Yes.
So it was half an hour long and it played out on Sky. It's on YouTube now. How was that? It took a long time.
I had no idea of the magnitude of what I was put into until I arrived that morning, just like I arrived here this morning, you know. And but I arrived there and there was a huge production, and they say, "Who's this for?" "Oh, for you." Oh, yeah.
Needle, right?
Oh, yeah. And then 6-7 hours later, there it was. Yeah, I was really amazed by the planning and have been executed, and having my face there as part of that to reach out to the people we need, because we need to reach out to the 130,000 people out there that are eligible to vote, and so we need to get them. And so that was amazing. It was a huge production, and so you had all the cameras on your face there and zoom in and zoom out. And I like the end products and what they produce, what came out of that. So I understand that good response from the people.
Yeah, I know that recently the UN and I think a report from the OECD recently came out and said obviously the best outcome we can have for people is to be involved in their civic duty. So that's voting, being signed up. And I think Māori, that's no different for us and the outcomes that we need, that we can't have the changes unless there's people involved in political power that can help us make those decisions. So when we talk about the 130,000, Matua, you're talking, there are 130,000 Māori currently in Aotearoa, and maybe even abroad, but they're eligible to vote, but they're not signed up to be able to vote. And I think that's even some people listening now on this podcast. What would be your message to them around signing up for the Māori Electorate?
And don't confuse with all the other propaganda. But it's giving our people the opportunity to be able to vote, whether they vote for national or for ACT or whatever. But there's an opportunity for them to be able to have a political voice, and that's what whāngai ora is about. Recruiting to get our young, particularly our man talking about the young people from the 30 down to 18, and so we can get that that's a huge population. So we need to reach out there. So kia tere hoa ma, get your ass over there, and let's make it real.
Change.
Yeah, make a change, and don't be whakama and be shy about it. So it's a real serious thing that we need to have a conversation.
I think I've met you a few times now.
Yeah.
And I'm always I was more aware of the things that you'd done in your activism before I'd met you.
Yeah.
And it was always humbling to meet someone soft spoken when I met you, very kind, humble. But I saw the images of how strong you were and fierce. And it kind of it affected me the first time I met you, because I thought, wow, those are two parallel worlds that you can go between. You know, and that's what I think for us now who are trying to stay in this space of activism for us and showing up for our people. And Brooke and I, we never grew up in Kura Kaupapa, but our boys go to kohanga. We put our sons in kohanga, so give them a chance. Are you, I guess, how do you think activism's changed, and how do we stay engaged? And I guess I'm asking you from your experience so early on in our history and even to now, and you still have an iPhone and you understand the platforms.
Totally. We had to move to the times. And I think that's the same thing happened for us back in the early days. It's a time to change, because a lot of our mentors are people that come through from the First World War, and a lot of those old activists from the First War, the Second World War. We learn a lot from that, and So things really definitely need to change, and I think the first thing really is your own self-liberation, to let go of some of those layers, and it's really important that we need to kind of more focus around who we are, where am I going. We need to continue to ask those questions about ourselves. Are we for real? What does it smell like? Does it have a taste with it? And so we need to. So for me now, I think being an artist is a really safe platform for me to be. So I can be many things, So you play the parts. So what day? Wednesday today, I wear bowler hats today. I may wear a bow tie today. But by this afternoon, I'll be in my gumboots. So you just play those parts. Yeah. Wear fits, and so I think that we need to paint the picture bigger than myself. It's not about Tame Iti. Yeah. It's about who we are, where we're going to, and I think that we having the opportunity to create a space like what you have here today, and for you to have the ability to be able to reaching out to millions of people, not just here in Auckland, Tāmaki Makaurau, but throughout the motu and internationally. And and I have been, we have been doing that, and doing that, having those relationships with the Pacific, having those relationships in Asia, in Africa, and having all of those, and particularly during the early Mandela days, in the what happened in South Africa, the apartheid system. There's some horrendous stuff really happening over in the Gaza land with the Palestinian people. So, that's a real issue for me too. A lot of my stuff. So we need to kind of talk about those. So it's an international things. So I think that for us to be here is really to try and reach out to the next generation. And, hey, enroll. And get yourself there on the Māori roll, and so you can have the political voice. And
Absolutely.
Can I just ask a question, Matua? Your story fascinates me, and I think about you the strength that you have to be the thorn or in the side of politicians, and I think the way the world has been run for so long now, it fascinates me. I've got two questions for you. One is, how have you? Where does that strength come from? Like, where does that come from? And my second question, because it may end up being a part of this answer, but how have you kept that flow going? How have you kept yourself motivated? And what is the thing? What is that thing that's calling you to be, this is our land, this is our people, this is my fight to take up?
Yeah, good question. I even asked that myself, and talk to myself. And many times I talk to myself. But we can see things. A lot of my learning you see things, you hear things. And when you see things, you can see good things, you can see bad things. And you don't have to be a scientist to be able to do that. And we can hear it, we can see it, we can feel it, we can taste it. It's a bad taste, it's a nice taste. You need a bit of garlic, need a bit of chili, all of that. Yeah. I continue to maintain that in myself, to upgrade myself in every way that I can to be able to motivate myself. I average about 4 hours sleep. Within about 4 hours sleep, but I have my little nap there in the afternoon. That could be around about 20 minutes or half an hour. There's a lot of breathing in it. It's slowing down your system. And for me to be able to, like I did here this morning, and so you had to build something in yourself that how you're able to maintain your well-being. And also what helps me is I had to let go a lot of layers, a lot of those different layers, a lot of my colonial bad habits. We all have colonial bad habits. And so you had to let go of that. So I had to let go of some of those issues, and not to take on issues that I don't need to. Sometimes we carry too many issues, and we put a lot of weight and toma stuff on their shoulders.
Yeah.
And so we had to kind of let go and put it in the fire or spit it out. Like for me, cigarettes. I had a smoking addiction. Yeah. And so I thought my body was saying, I was coughing in the morning. Still have a smoke in the bed, and so it took me a long time to work it out. So I decided one day I bought a whole packet of cigarettes. I think it was only about $2 a packet then. And I bought a $2 packet and a brand new packet. So I went home, I got up in the morning, I took it through the confiscation line and I threw it away over there. Yeah. So you got to let it go. Yeah, and you got to do those. You got to do those little different physical action, psychological stuff. So you got to.
Yeah, you threw the packet away when it was full, not when it was empty.
Yeah. So you take
that's the distinct difference there.
So you let it go. You had to let it go. So taking those action, and it works for me. Beautiful. And so I haven't had a cigarette ever since. That was a long time ago.
Can I ask another thing too? Has the view on you and your journey and what you are being an artist about, has it softened over the years? Have Pākehā especially become less confrontational and more accepting?
Oh, yeah. No, totally. You know, I remember years ago, I used to walk down Whakatane and there's a guy, Tāme Iti! You know, yell, and the whole street to hear it.
Yeah.
The guy swearing me from a distance. You know, Tāme Iti, you know, and talking like that. You know, it's not like that anymore.
No.
You know, and
Good question.
definitely time change. Totally different, because I travel around quite a lot. You know, travel around the country. People are a lot more polite. Kia ora, Tāme. Blah, 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 blah. Even when I had the moko, even right then when I first walked around, appeared at the airport with a moko, and people were a lot more respectful about it. You know, and you know, and there was a blonde hair lady there talking about, talk to the man with the moko. Yeah, but you know, the thought and the whakaaro was there. So it definitely has changed. So we had to, a few of us had to go out and challenge the pubs and go to places. I wasn't drinking then back in those days. And we deliberately go to some of the pubs and they have a sign that any person here with a facial marking is not allowed here. And so we just go and have a go at them. I think I got locked up in Christchurch for doing that. I got locked up down in Shortland Street down in Auckland for doing that. But you had to do those sort of types of action just to make the major changes.
Yeah, we've used so many words, activist, artist, orator, but you spoke earlier and you said it can't just be now. You have to kind of be a visionary as well. What does the next... I want to foreplant this and go like, what does the next 20 years look like? If you could rest easy going, okay, when it's all said and done for me, I made the change here, or you know, I did my part. But what does 20 years from now look like for New Zealand?
Well, I think this is the most challenging thing, and I guess is to go beyond ourselves. Is to work collectively with other people, to be engaged, and with our tiriti partners.
You have hope in that?
Yeah, and working with everybody. So not just a tūhoe thing, not just a Waikato thing, not just a Tāme Iti thing, but it's Aotearoa. This is us Aotearoa. We have many other people here today. We got to be real about that. And how can we engage ourselves to participate? You know, and and I think that that's my role, what I'm doing today. And to be involved in every aspect I can, in every place that I can able to do those things. I'm going to do this to the day I die. There's no time, there's no retirement in my space. That's me. I hope that's all of us.
Yeah, man.
Well, look, last question. I think a lot of us, you know, even though the question Mark asked you around has Pākehā become more polite or they've softened, I think for us in our generation now, even with all the political commentary that we have and the voices that we have on social media, it's becoming increasingly difficult to you can have the sense you're still afraid of your own voice, to actually speak the truth, to actually stand where your 2 feet are. You kind of want to go, well, I'd rather Matua Tame does it. I'd rather that person who looks like they're up there, I'd rather they war cry for me instead of me joining in. How do we, as individuals in Te Ao Māori, how do we get better at showing up and saying it out loud? And
I think be truthful to yourself. You know, and I think the first liberation internally yourself, dealing with yourself. And if for you to be able to go out there and talk to everybody else, you got to deal with yourself. I had to do a lot of that kind of work. In with my own behaviour. I used to think that my enemy was blonde hair, blue eyes. And it took me a while to go, no, that's not true. Yeah, I had to let go, throw that away. You know, and just, I think it's our attitude, changing the attitude and our behaviour in the way that we respond to each other. And we had to be kind to each other. But we had to be straight up to each other too. You and you know. Yeah, be truthful about that. And it's okay.
Yeah.
And I think we should be able to do that. And let go of that. And there was time we were living in the village, because I live in the village. We used to have a fighting with each other and have an argument, and then we kiss each other. Sorry, my bro.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bro.
Sorry, my bro.
Yeah. So I don't mean that. I had to go back to those guys that I punched them in the face, you know, and they say, sorry, my bro. You know, I didn't mean to do that. So I just be truthful and be honest to ourselves. And then we let go, and then we move on. Let's start working what the future going to look like. What's it going to look like for us in the next 50 years, in the next 20 years. So that's what we are doing today. And having those conversations, really important to have those conversations. And create a space. Create a space for us to be able to pull everybody together and start painting the new picture and the new feature, whether it be in the colour blue, red, black, doesn't really matter. They're all part of this of the colour scheme.
Absolutely.
Or the colour chart.
Oh man,
I love that. We started today to talk about the Māori Electorate and signing up, and I think if you weren't listening properly, if you didn't think that all of that korero was connected today and under that topic. So, Matua Tame Iti, thank you so much for your time. We really
privilege,
appreciate
honour.
Yeah, honoured to be here with you guys. You know, and I have watched your show, a lot of laugh.
Oh.
Yeah, thank you for that.
We made it.
We must be doing something right.
Thank you, Matua.
I'm Mihi.
This is The Shift. The Shift.
Go home, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go home.
The Morning Shift.
I'm gonna make him an offer again with you.
The Shift.
I love it.
This is The Shift.
Got it.
Okay.